Right then, so today we're just having a little trip to Chris's man cave. So this is where the magic happens. Chris has got some bigger tools than I have. It's alright for some in it. So just thought we'd bring a few bits. We're going to do a bit of polishing, a bit of cutting, and we'll just see how we get on. So first thing we're going to have a look at is this.
Nice pat of ammonite there. Nice and smooth, so we'll see if that'll polish up a bit.
Yeah, I found that last year at Port Mulgrave. It had a little bit of shell on it, but most of it was missing. So I decided to take the shell off, and that shows the sutures underneath. So we'll see if it polishes up, and it's still a nice piece anyway. But if we can polish it up and it gets a shine on it, it's definitely one to put in the cupboard. And if we turn it that way, I think that's really nice. Shows the internal structure of it. So I do like that as well. I think that looks really nice. So we'll just have a go and see what happens.
Right, there we go.
So we've made a start on that. Then you can see it's putting a bit of decent polish on it. I'm quite happy with that. So it's going to be a nice display piece, that. So just going to turn the camera off, and then we'll finish it off, and then we'll just show you a couple of pictures when we're finished. Right then, so we've just had a go with that, and I'm quite happy with that. There's a nice sheen on there. Hopefully you can see that catching the sunlight.
Yeah, polish really nice, that.
That's good. That's definitely one to stick on the shelf. If I had shelf space to put it on anyway, we'll find somewhere to put it, but there we go. Right, we'll get something else sorted for you and carry on filming. Right then, so the next piece we're going to have a go at is this piece of ammonite. It's got some pyrite showing in there. I didn't actually find this. I was given it by a friend of the family, so he said did I want it, so I did, and hopefully we'll polish it up. It might look better than that. Again, it's been a decent sized ammonite, so it's worth keeping. Let's just have a go and see what that looks like. just a bit more difficult to sand, that one, with it not being as smooth as the other ammonite, but can't really wet and dry that anymore, so we'll lose the surface detail and there's no sutures and structures underneath it. So again, it's just worth having a go though, as it might just transform it into a better looking piece. Yeah, so I think there's an improvement there, definitely worth keeping. Say a decent chunk, it's been a good sized ammonite, wish we could have found it all, or well, wish Matty had found it all, the guy who gave it to me, but it's yeah, still nice, and again, another piece to keep, and we're going to press on with something else next. Hopefully in the sunshine we can see it a little bit better. It's still got some of its original shell on there, but again, definitely worth polishing, and another one for the collection. So this piece, if you can remember, was the large piece of wood that I found at Port Mulgrave on our last video. So I took it to local stonemason Odlins, so they get a bit of a shout out there for cutting that for me. Didn't charge me for it, so I'm very pleased with that. Unfortunately, it's not, looks pretty boring inside. It is quite brown looking when it's wet, so hopefully I've wet and dried it, sanded it down so it's ready for polishing. Not hoping for anything brilliant out of this, but you know, it's still a decent sized piece of wood, so we'll give it a go, and once we've had a go, we'll get it out in the sunshine and we'll take some photos of it for you all. So yeah, unfortunately it hasn't, well, it's cut fine and it's sanded fine, but there's just not a lot of detail there to show, which is a shame really, but some wood comes up really nice and others don't, as I said on the video from the beach. But definitely keep it because it's a good sized piece of wood. I'm just going to clean these little bits out here, I think, just pen that out, and we'll keep that, and again it can sit on the shelf. But it's a decent sized chunk, and it's a stable chunk as well, it's not falling apart, which some of them are, so it'll last. So next couple of bits we're going to do is a couple of glacial erratic corals from the Ordnance Coast. It's a little bit green, Don't know if you can see it on there. That's because it's been sat in my garden for a year or so. But possibly, if we just tilt it to the side, Chris, we can maybe see there where the coral polyps are going down. Now, hopefully, we're going to slice that in half, and maybe when it's polished, might get some nice detail in there. Again, it's a lot like wood as well. It can look really good, or it can look really naff, and everything else in between. So it's a decent sized chunk. So we're going to cut and polish that piece, and then Chris has just got another little smaller piece in there. Again, we'll just have a go with that. It might look really nice, or unfortunately it might not. But not a superb pieces to keep as they are. But if we can polish them and look at them, that looks really good, and it also helps identify the coral species as well.
Right, I'll do the small one first.
A bit big, or will it go that way?
It'll go. I'll just have to look back.
Yeah.
I think that'll polish good.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. So the next step is we'll give it a sand on the belt sander first, and then it's down to a bit of hand wet and drying before it's ready for polishing.
Right, just dry it off first.